Hello everyone, it's Wednesday afternoon, a bit late with this latest video that I'm attempting to upload today. The good news is I'm spending more time writing, which is important. I want to get the second instalment of my alternate history piece finished, the other Operation Barbarossa. Quite enjoying writing that actually, but it'll probably be a few weeks at least before I'll get it published. And hopefully someone that watches this channel will have a chance to actually read it and give me some feedback. I'd really appreciate that. And of course, subscriptions have just frozen. I think actually they've dropped after the last video, so people obviously weren't overly impressed. So I don't know if I'll ever make that 1,000 mark. I think it's maybe a bridge too far for me. But it is a nice day. And at the moment I'm just waiting to have a delivery of cypress mulch, which is the one that puts the termites off. They don't like the cypress mulch apparently. So that should be delivered fairly soon. Cost me a couple of $100 just to get a cubic metre of the stuff. Because it's $50 delivery. It used to be $30. In the last 3 years it's gone up to $50, and the actual mulch itself is not cheap, but I'm extending my garden along the side, which is something I've been meaning to do for a long time. It'll cut back on the amount of mowing I've got to do, so that's a good thing. Elon Musk is still having to put up with the crap from the FAA. It's getting pretty nasty. He's suing them because he thinks they've overstretched their authority moving into the environmental area. They're supposed to be safety focused. They're a lumbering bureaucracy that's way too slow for an innovator like Elon Musk. And if America doesn't do something about their bureaucracy, they're going to fall back amongst the world countries, because if they don't support their innovators, there's not going to be much left of the country. It's really important. Well, I'm off to Cairns by bus, and as you can probably tell, it's fairly overcast today. Has been, well, yesterday was too. It was quite cool. A top temperature today of 26, and it was very nippy yesterday. I don't think we saw the sun once. I'm just doing the collar of my, the cuff I should say, of my shirt. Yeah, apparently the 50-cent bus fares are going to stay, because both the Premier, current Premier, probably outgoing Premier, and the opposition leader are both committed to 50-cent bus fares. So looks like it's going to continue on. Then again, politicians have been known to break promises in the past, so I wouldn't say it's necessarily going to happen in perpetuity, but at least it'll drag on a bit longer. So we'll see. Other thing is that my last video, where I made a few comments, I guess you could say they're political, because I was certainly having a go at journalists. And that got quite a few, it's had quite a few views. I was quite surprised. I was a bit worried about that, and haven't had many comments, and I've actually down on subscribers by one, so work that one out. So, but good to vent my spleen, because, you know, I think that we're not well served by the journalistic media profession at the moment, and the rot had been setting in for decades, and things are just getting worse. It will turn around. That's human nature, that people just get fed up, and, well, they're switching off mainstream media and they're moving to other formats. So they are voting with their feet, but the media companies are still fairly influential and have a bit of money behind them. So they're going to be around a bit longer. So the struggle will continue, but hopefully people will be more discerning and switch off stuff they think is crap. I know in America, CNBC, which is very left-wing, has actually taken a bit of a hit, and of course the ABC network over there has to
been putting out a few fires over the debate, which was regarded as being fairly unfair towards Trump. Didn't help himself out to some degree as well, and I've got to admit, but if Kamala Harris has been given the questions prior to the actual debate, that's pretty damn bad. And you know, we haven't got confirmation of that yet. There is a whistleblower situation occurring, and they're looking into things, so you never know what might show up as investigations continue. But I'm hoping that the framing of the camera is pretty good now, because if I changed the settings, it looks fairly stable. I'm looking at it again, and it hasn't shifted to anything wacky, so it may well be the fix that was required. And it was just quite a simple change in the settings, so that's good. Anyway, it's at least it's not too cold. It's actually quite pleasant temperature wise. It's just a bit moist, a bit spitty, very much like Melbourne weather. So haven't seen the bus yet. Hopefully it'll show up soon, and I'll get my crap out of the way for today. And I may even go back to Smithfield to shop today to enjoy the experience of shopping at a local supermarket. So I've got plenty of wholemeal or multigrain bread that I got from the central store, so I can come back via Smithfield today, I guess. So, the other thing is, Manor Lord seems to be playing okay now. I had all those troubles with it, basically throwing me out and rebooting the computer, and I couldn't play it for any length of time. Now it's fine. So it's nice to get reacquainted with that, but I do want to also get back into a bit of writing, so I don't want to be spending too much time playing video games. And I did actually publish the first of a series of a short series, which is an alternate history series based around Germany's invasion of Russia, how things could have changed with a bit of help from a mysterious advisor that gives the old Führer a few tips on how to basically make sure that they win that particular campaign. So someone's already actually looked at it. I checked today. I was quite surprised. I only actually went live a couple of days ago, and someone has purchased it. It's only 99 US cents, so it's quite cheap. If anybody wants to read it, please do, and please give a critique of it. I would love to get a review for it. And I'm hoping this one garners a bit more interest than the other two short stories that I've published. One of them I don't think anybody's even read yet, so that's been a bit of a dud, but I do appreciate anyone who's prepared to read. I know it's a bit of a commitment to do that, but it's only a short story, about 10-12 pages. Not a huge commitment, but I'd love to get your feedback. And like I said, you only be out of pocket probably about $1.50 Oz, so it's not a lot. It's less than buy me a coffee, so it's not too bad. Well, it's Friday afternoon, about 3:30, heading off to the tavern bar, which has the major advantage. It's slightly cheaper happy hour drinks at $6, and you get points when you make a purchase online. So it does work out better. So we'll see how it goes. And normally when I get round the corner here, I'd be catching up with my two neighbours. But apparently today they're bike riding. Got a phone call from Yvonne, and she said that they'll be bike riding and not walking to the pub. I presume that they'll be... Actually, I don't know how they get into the pub. It's an interesting question. I'm wondering, because I wouldn't leave their bikes there. So I wonder how else they get in. I think they're actually getting the bus to the pub as well. So, as well as leaving it. So they're doing it both ways, if I recall. It's only 50 cents for a bus trip, so it's pretty damn cheap. And so normally I would be catching up with them about now, but not today. So I might do a little bit of recording, because I I haven't been out of the house for a few days. I haven't actually walked outside the house since Tuesday, so it's been a few days. And one good piece of news is that my alternate history story, which is called The Other Barbarossa, Operation Barbarossa, that is, the major operation by the Nazis to invade Russia in 1941. That it's about 3,800 words, about 12 pages for the first instalment of that story. I'm intending it to go, I'm not sure how many instalments it'll be, but it'll be probably at least a couple more. So it'll be a mini series. And but the good news is that a couple of people in the States have actually purchased it. So there is a little bit of interest, so that's better than nothing. They haven't reviewed it, or if they have, there hasn't been posted yet, the review, because there'd be a delay with that too, because they've got a cold reviews, of course. It'd be nice to get a positive review, but just having a couple of people actually purchase it's pretty good. And I don't think none of my subscribers have, because they, from what I can tell, it says they're both from the States. So unless they were purchased directly through the Amazon, I mean, you could do it with a VPN. You could go to Amazon in America and purchase something like that. It's an ebook anyway, so it doesn't matter where you are. But chances are they are American, so that's good. It's actually even better. A couple of people I have no contact with, so I guess it just proves the point that you just got to keep putting more and more stuff out there and getting a name for yourself. And you know, I should have done this years ago. I mean, Amazon has made self-publishing very easy. I mean, they do very well out of it, but it is, at least if you don't want to put all the effort into normal publishing, it's a good way of doing it. I mean, there's no charges involved, there's no costs. So I think I've probably earned the princely sum of about 70 cents with those two purchases, because they're 99 cents US each, and I only get 35% as a royalty. You have to actually have a higher priced item to get a higher royalty. You can get up to 70% royalty, which is pretty damn good. But at this stage, I'm just trying to establish a bit of a presence online, and that's all it is. And actually, I just enjoy it anyway. I enjoy that genre, and maybe other people like it too. Maybe it's a niche genre that people are looking out for. They want more material, and if that's the case, I might do a few more alternate history novels or short stories or whatever. I'll probably do it this way. I think I know a lot of people publish stuff in series, so they make it bite-sized segments that they get out to the public in stages. So I think that's reasonable. Some people probably want to have the whole completed thing, but it is sort of self-contained in the first section. Sort of a cliffhanger ending with a bit of a downer ending, I guess, but that changes in the next instalment anyway. So using all the usual techniques you use with writing and what have you. But, you know, the most important thing about writing something is you've got to have a reader. It's totally unvalidated unless you have someone who actually does consume the art that you produced. And if they don't, well, you know, I enjoy the process to some degree, but it is even better when you get validated like that. So it's pretty important too. So yeah, it's good. Hopefully this camera's operating okay. Yeah, it seems to be pretty stable with the picture. Looks like the framing's working now. I wonder if that guy's heading down to the beach house. There's always some guy in a high performance motorbike down there. So that was good news anyway. I didn't expect that. So I'm working on the second instalment. I've written 1,000 words of it, so I'm maybe about a quarter of the way through. And it's interesting because I have to do a bit of research too, because it's set in 1941. I want to make it seem reasonably authentic. I'm a bit worried about the dialogue because the way people spoke was different back then. So that's probably maybe where it falls down. I don't know if many authors are too concerned about that unless it really is a specific type of speech pattern that you're looking at. I don't know. I mean, people criticise you on anything. And if you get enough people reading something like that, because I know through the workshops that I was in, the Critters workshop, I got quite a few critiques, and it was self-critiquing workshops. So you would be able to submit your own work if you say did critique 10 other pieces of work by other people that entitled you to actually put your own work up. So it's a good system because it makes you honest. You have to contribute. And you do learn something through that process. But seeing Amazon just allows you to publish your own stuff, I thought, bugger that, I don't want to go through all that anymore. I just want to do it direct and see what happens, sink or swim. So we'll see. Like I say, the worst thing can happen with that type of situation is just being ignored. You've just got to basically make your presence felt and get a profile, and then it makes it more... Yeah, it validates the whole process. Yeah, a lot of shade. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I've been following the American election. Of course, that's hotting up big time. So many YouTube channels that are devoted to just finding out what the polls are at the moment. My personal opinion is I think that Kamala is in trouble. I don't think that she's going to do well, but I was wrong about... Trump in 2020, but apparently the polls are a lot more favourable at this stage than what they were in the past, so they should be doing okay, but we'll see. I think if Americans went around and actually did vote for her, I think they'd be really shocked at what they got, maybe to the same extent that's happening in England at the moment, because it seems like Starmer is poison, political poison. That man it's 70 days, he's blown any chance of a honeymoon period. The Labor Party's really on the nose. They're not even up to 30% support now, they're down to 29%, and with the Conservatives just below them and Reform below Conservatives. But I have a feeling that the Conservatives won't last that long. I think their support will erode over time, and I think Reform will become more prominent, but we'll see. Because I think that they did the dirty on the electorate too. They were worse because they were supposedly a Conservative government without Conservative principles. They basically sold out totally the electorate, especially with border control. Just a shocker. I think they basically probably lost support for life with a number of people. Because of that, they would never vote for them again. It's an extremely volatile electorate, that's for sure. But all the Western electorates are pretty volatile now. It's not just the UK and America. Well, then America said, well, the problem with Kamala is that she's losing the independent votes. They're not going along with her. Trump is getting some estimates about 2/3 of them, and she's getting maybe a third. That's not enough. You need to win over the independents. The other thing I've found quite interesting too is watching a few YouTube channels where they're pretty heavily Trump fanboy types, and a lot of these guys are black. I'd say the majority of the ones that I've clicked on. So if that's indicative of the support that Trump is getting in the black community, he's doing pretty well, because I'm just stunned at how many of these particular channels there are, all run by young guys who generally probably in their 20s, and they're pretty much on the Trump train. So it's interesting to see that. Really, it's not what you'd expect. I think people are waking up to the fact that, the Dems really are the party of the elites, and when they get those celebrity endorsements like the what's her name? God, a mental blank. Well, they get. It doesn't matter who the celebrity is, but celebrity endorsements are not a good thing necessarily. It actually reinforces the Taylor Swift is who I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to forget her, which is probably fair enough. But yeah, I mean, her endorsement, I think, could actually be more of a negative. Apparently, she's found out that quite a few of her fans aren't Democrats, so she's going to be paying a bit because of that. She can afford it, mind you. But yeah, I just don't think celebrity endorsements are going to do you any good. I think they're a negative. And of course, Republicans just don't seem to go down that path. But the Democrats love it. It's like had Oprah doing a one-on-one with Kamala, and I think, it's a big turn-off, I think. I mean, you expect me to say that, of course, but I don't think the independents would be impressed either. Just going down to Moore Street. It's just pretty busy on a Friday night. This is just leaving the bar. Big liquor land there, very large. Yep, just going to walk back home as well, so that's good. I get to walk here and walk back, and I need the exercise. So easy to be sedentary in front of that old computer, not good. Yeah, it's quite pleasant now. It's actually got the 30 today, felt quite warm earlier, but it's not too bad now. So yeah, I think my neighbour's got a free bus ride over here. It's not collecting fares again. They do that from time to time. I don't know what they're on about, but sort of pseudo-industrial action, I guess. Who knows? But yeah, had a couple of different beers, so it's good they've got a happy hour there. We can try different beers. They're only $6 each, so it's quite good value. But their electronic ordering system is pretty stuffed. You're supposed to be able to order from the table, have it delivered to the table, but it wasn't working again today, and 50% of the time it's not working. So it's a bit of a dog, but it wasn't far to the bar, and what you do is you just get a code generated, and it still charges your credit card or debit card, and you get points. So you only pay $6 and you get points as well. It's a good deal. Anyway, heading back home again. I'll get rid of the rest of my bacon. I bought a bit a week or two ago, and I've just got to use it, and I have it with spaghetti. So what I'll do is I'll saute it in olive oil with some garlic, and have Parmesan cheese with it, of course. So that'll be nice. But yeah, I noticed that I think Steve ordered some chips today, and it took forever for them to get the order out. I reckon he was waiting almost half an hour. So he wasn't happy about it. I don't blame him. It's not good. So they were a bit slack on the delivery. It's a nice area here, but for some reason this the restaurant on the other side here has just been moribund for probably 6 months now. The bar and grill. I hear that apparently the owners might be the reason that they're not the easiest people to deal with, but who knows. You hear a lot of stuff on anecdotally, but not having an asset like this has just been sitting idle in a fairly prime location, because you've got the lake right behind it.
It's quite nice. It's a good location, but yeah, it's funny how an asset like that can be just left without being used. Well, it's around 11 o'clock on a Monday and I'm heading up to the shops. And why do I usually head up to the shops? Yes, it's another liquor run. I've been waiting for the latest $15 off sale at Liquorland, and it's just happened today, having Monday through to Wednesday. If you spend over $125, then you'll get $15 off the actual order. So the 700ml bottles of Sailor Jerry's are going for $47, so that's a decent discount in itself. But you can add to that over 10%, because I think I'm spending about $130, I think it is, before the discount, $133 or something like that, which probably makes it about a 12% discount, which isn't too bad really. It's one of the best you're going to get. So you can take 12% off that price, and I'm also getting a bottle of El Cheapo gin as well, so it's a good deal. Comes at $118 all up, paid on my Visa debit card, and just got to pick it up. And I prefer it to deliveries. Apparently the delivery would happen tomorrow, which is pretty fast. So maybe they actually do it from the local shop. But I've got to go to the hospital tomorrow. That's my regular appointment there. So not really practical. So I'll get it done today. And the other major advantage of this is it gets me out of the house and I have to walk there. And well, I could ride a bike, but I'm happy to walk because good for back health. And I had a decent walk on Friday. I walked to the pub. I was only there for an hour and then I walked home. So that was an hour's walk. So that was quite good. But on the weekend, did nothing. Just spent the time at home. I've been productive. I've been doing a little bit of gardening. I've got a lot of potting mix, and what I'm doing is I'm getting rid of all the old pots. They're full of stuff that's just basically growing weeds, and I have to get rid of the weeds, and what I'm doing is just adding a top layer of fresh potting mix to a layer that's sort of more gravelly. It was called potting mix, but it really was just a fairly gravelly mix with very little plant matter. And that's what I got. I think I got that from the I'm trying to think. I either got it from Branches or the Northern God, I can't remember the name of the company now. I haven't used them for a while. Northern Raw Materials. I will need to see them again because I'm going to have to get some more mulch, because it doesn't last forever. Or wood chips, I should say. The cedar ones, which are put the termites off. I think that's a good thing. There's a few houses around here for sale. Not many, not as many as when during the boom period, but there are a few. And it might be a good time to sell, because all indications are that the economy is quite fragile. It's fragile for a number of reasons. America's slowing down, although I think their employment figures and GNP figures are okay, but apparently their consumption's not so great. Their retail sales are going down, and certainly the housing industry is on a downward slope. So I would tend to err on the side that they're going to slow down. And more importantly for Australia, China's become a bit of a basket case. They've got so many bad things happening. And it's not surprising when you've got Xi Jinping in control, who is basically a Marxist. He's going to run the country. He's going to run the country into the ground. There may well be a new revolution, because apparently youth unemployment's going right up, and that's not a good recipe for stability. And they see that around here a lot of delivery guys. It's delivery heaven in this area. Yeah, so
So there's a lot of storm clouds, and I personally think the economy's not super rosy in the future. And so if you're selling a house now, might be a good time to do it, because house prices generally don't drop precipitously in Australia like they do in the US, but it'll certainly would not surprise me to have a decade of stagnation in prices, which will be a good thing, because the capacity to pay these prices with the incomes is very low. It's just, you know, if you're just starting out like I was with my ex years ago, there's no way we would have been able to afford these prices. So yeah, things are tough. So mind you, places like Melbourne, prices really aren't going up. They've been stable there for a while now. I put that down to basically government mismanagement, because they've mismanaged their finances so much that they've had to put taxes up on virtually everything. So the cost of living in Victoria is quite high. It's sort of like a mini California. Similar sort of scenario. You know, the public are going to have to make the mistakes of excessive spending of the government. It's an old story. So, yeah, so the other thing that really sticks in my craw, there's been a lot of talk about the SpaceX situation with the FAA, Federal Aviation Authority, who a lot of people are saying are actually overstepping their bounds of responsibility. They're supposed to be there for safety, and they normally look after airlines, but they are not prepared or set up to handle the rapid iterations of new technology that happens at SpaceX, because SpaceX is so proactive at trying new things that a lumbering bureaucracy like the FAA just can't handle the timeframes that SpaceX is working on. And it has been said that they're overstepping their bounds, and they're being sued for this by SpaceX for basically moving into the environmental area as well. That shouldn't be their remit. They should be just looking after safety. And I would say that I would get rid of that as far as this type of research, like SpaceX cutting edge research. I'd say get them out of the loop totally. They're not set up for it. Maybe they could work in aviation, but they probably need reform anyway. They're probably top heavy and inefficient. Wouldn't surprise me. But they're causing so much anxiety for SpaceX. SpaceX could eventually just spit the dummy and say, well, stuff you, if you're not going to reform it. If say Kamala Harris got in, I think there wouldn't be any change. So, because it is against Musk, it's definitely a political decision by the FAA, in my opinion, to basically cause problems for SpaceX and Elon Musk in particular, because Elon Musk will be getting an advisory role in the Trump administration if Donald Trump wins the election, which does appear to be likely at this stage. Still a month ago, but at this stage, from all the polls that I've looked at online, because they tend to underestimate Republican support, but at the moment he's even ahead on the popular vote, and he doesn't really need to be, because that's just your general vote, which will take into account all the people all the Democrats in places like California that make up those numbers. But they're sort of overall the whole of America. The Republicans do better in the middle of the country, because they of the Electoral College, the way it's set up with a state-by-state count of delegates, it seems to work much better for them, and they can afford to be, say, 2% behind on the overall popular vote in the country and still win the Electoral College. But at the moment, it's looking like Trump is actually ahead in the popular vote nationally, which really spells doom for the Democrats. But I think Kamala is a terrible candidate, and you know, it's not surprising. The other thing I felt really disturbing was I saw that you had Joe Biden address a cabinet meeting for a short time before he introduced his wife, who actually ran the bloody meeting. Now, Jill Biden was not elected as president, but she's basically acting like president because, as we all know, Joe Biden is incapacitated mentally to do that job. And I would actually contend that Jill Biden is showing very little mental acuity in that role as well. She was responsible for the disgraced head of the Secret Service. That was her pick, and a classic woke DEI pick. And it'll be the ruination of America if they continue on that path. So if Kamala Harris wins, you'll be getting more of that crap. And do not be surprised if all these socialist policies that she's been suppressing during the actual election campaign all come to the surface again, because that's really in her DNA. It's her family history. Her father is a Marxist lecturer. Yeah, I mean, we don't know what the Americans expect, but I think Americans will be smarter than that, and I think they will evict Donald Trump. The only problem I've got with that, of course, is he seems to be pushing this line of throwing Ukraine under the bus, and I hate that. I think you don't want to reward Putin for being a thug. Totally against it, and it's a shame because I think both Trump and J.D. Vance got a lot to offer. J.D. Vance took on the press. He was being interviewed and he wasn't going to take any crap from reporters. He actually confronted them, and that's what I like to see. I like to see a politician with a bit of backbone. He's prepared to fight back and not kowtow to this woke garbage, which has destroyed the likes of Disney. That company is so badly run that it might be a very good acquisition for someone like Elon Musk, because I think it'll be a money-making machine if it's run correctly. If it goes back to Walt Disney's core values, you know, pitching to the family and what have you, I think that they could go gangbusters. And at the moment, they're way underperforming, and their share price is showing, I think it's under $100 now. It's way down on what it has been. It's been losing value for years. And yeah, just if Musk took it over, I think it'd be a fairly easy ship to turn around. Apparently he sacked a few ex-employees who were woke the other day. I wonder if they're the same ex-employees that won't reinstate my account there. I find that extraordinary that that's the one online platform that I've been banned from, and I don't know why. I don't know if anybody's aware of Kafka's, the famous Czech author, his book called The Trial, where he's been basically put on trial for he didn't even know why, and he's just been dragged around and questioned by a number of officials, and it's just basically it was a satire on the Eastern European autocracies that have been set up under the Soviet system. It's very good, very disturbing, and unfortunately there's a lot of elements like that around now, because like I said, our press is pretty corrupted. Other good thing apart from gardening, the gardening thing is interesting too, that I'm trying to grow snow peas. I want to really get some fresh greens, and I've had terrible luck with it in the past. So what I've actually done is I've got a couple of pots, one that's outside on the veranda, the other one which is actually shaded next to the ferns. And quite a shaded area, quite a cool shaded little enclave, and that one is doing well. I've finally some of the seeds have actually germinated, quite a few of them, but not so the other one.
So maybe they are averse to too much sun. So that was interesting. I wanted to do that as an experiment, and thank God I did, because the positioning of your plants could be a crucial factor in whether they're going to germinate correctly and grow. So we'll see, but it's late in the year. Ideally, I should have been doing this months ago, but at least I pulled my finger out now and got a few things growing. Petunia seeds have germinated. Hopefully they'll go okay, but they're just annuals. Pretty flowers, but they're only annuals. So I guess you'd have to buy another lot of seeds for the next year. But could be nice during summer though, because I think that's when they flower. So that could be a nice addition. I've got a stack of seeds in my cupboard that I've tried to plant, because I've got so many that there's not doing any good in the packs. You've got to get them out there and into the soil and at least have a go. And I've got a crap load of potting mix, the Seals potting mix, which is pretty good quality, and a lot of pots. So I've got all the resources to grow a crap load of stuff in pots. I've also got some lemon seeds coming, about 5 of those this week, and some tomato seeds. So we'll see how we go with that. But I'll be interested to see if there's if I have any luck with the snow peas in a shaded area. That may be the trick. It's going to be about 31 today, so it's definitely heating up. It was 30 yesterday, so weather's definitely getting warmer. I'm looking at the framing on this camera. It looks pretty good. I think I've solved that issue, so that's good news. So I know it was pissing people off watching the videos, don't blame them, but it's also pissing me off. So the other thing I got into is I'm doing a lot more writing, and that makes me feel good for the soul. The other thing I was actually very pleased with was I finally got a decent book cover done using AI. I used one of the image-to-text program, text-to-image programs, I should say, that are online, AI programs, and it made quite an attractive cover for the book. It looks very professional. The only problem is a lot of these programs they're really dumb when it comes to the author's name. I put the down title of the book. That's generally okay, but not always. But the thing they stuff up is my name. They get the spelling wrong. So I don't know how that happens. I mean, I write it down, I make it quite clear what it is, but they don't seem to be able to do the basics and just get the author's name correct. And it's got me totally beat. I mean, I'm sure they're going to get better at it, but I found one program I'm fairly happy with, but again, it's still hit and miss. I'd probably have to generate half a dozen to a dozen images to get one that actually follows the guidelines that I've given. Now, it may be the way I write those guidelines, but maybe we need more information on that type of thing, so me as a consumer can do it more successfully in the future, because it can be a little frustrating. Oh, that was easy. There's no one else in there at that stage, and I must be the only person who put an order in online, because they pretty well knew it was me. So that's all done, and I worried I might actually break something, but I'm pretty good. I don't break bottles especially when walking. It's pretty easy. So yeah, because I was running out of my rum, so I just ran out yesterday, so it's perfect timing. So it's tough making money as a writer. Not many people do. I don't think J.K. Rowling will be shaking her boots when she sees my sales figures on Amazon. But the people on Amazon probably make money. The ones who write romance novels, and they also write the books that are like workbooks and things like that. I don't quite even know how they look. I hadn't even looked into what the formatting of that sort of thing is or whatever. But I've got a passion for what I'm writing at the moment, so it's an indulgence. And if I happen to make any money out of it, that would be a bonus. I mean, at least what piddling amount of money I've made, there was no cost involved, just time. And I've got stacks of that. So I might as well use it to my advantage. And there's nothing worse than having unfinished works sitting around, just collecting dust. Might as well get them out into the marketplace. It's my philosophy. So, and I think I do write. I try to be entertaining and write a commercially viable type of product, but also want to make it decent quality. So I'm trying for all those things, which can be a difficult mix. And I mean, there's stuff out there which I don't think's that well written. I've read some Jeffrey Archer's stuff, and I think his stuff was particularly well written. And the same goes for what's it called, 9 Shades of Grey, which made huge. And I thought that was not great, not well written. Just happened to hit a demand for a bit of titillation, and so I found an audience. But that doesn't make it a great literary work. So it depends what you're looking for. I think you're best to look to just satisfy yourself, stay true to yourself. If you're not making money, there's no need to sell out. It'd be bloody stupid to do it. Be like with this YouTube channel, if I'd started compromising my opinions to make the audience feel better, stuff that. It's if you don't like what I've got, just don't watch. That's how it works. And if you do, I'm very grateful. If you do like it, but it's just there as I've got a lot out of it, and it's not necessarily monetary. It's not monetary because it isn't even monetized, but I've got a lot out of having the YouTube channels. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment or whatever. And either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great. But please don't ignore me. That's the worst thing you can do on YouTube, is be ignored.